Hello everyone, my name's Dana and my channel name is Gemstone Stitches. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video and allowing me to share all my progress that I've made on my cross stitching. It's a beautiful day today in Vermont. It's cold, it's not snowing, it's nice and sunny, but there is a lot of snow on the ground from previous snowstorms, and I'm guessing it just won't melt until spring comes. I don't know, I'm still getting used to these winters. It's just my second winter here in Vermont. I have to say though, I still love the snow. I think it's one of the most beautiful things to watch, the snow falling down. That might get old to me the longer I'm here, but for now, this Texas girl still thinks snow is very exciting. So, I have a lot to share with you today. I probably should have split this up into two videos, but I didn't realize that I have so much until I started collecting everything that I've worked on the last couple months. We'll start with what I ended the year doing, the end of 2018, and then we'll move on into 2019 for the month of January, because today is February 1st, so been through the whole month of January now. The first thing I have is a finish. I was working on the Autumn Garden by the Drawn Thread, so it's very exciting that I was able to finish that before December 21st. That means that I met my goal of stitching all the seasonal gardens in the year of 2018 and finishing them during the season that I was stitching. So I don't remember if I already said this. I had until December 21st, and I think I ended up finishing this December 17th or 18th, something along those lines. So here it is. Okay. They're long piece. It's a long piece. This is on a 32 count piece of scrap linen from the L&S that was in Lincoln when I lived there, Lincoln, Nebraska. All of the Drawn Thread gardens that I stitched were on scrap pieces of 32 count linen from that store. So here is close. I love the way the chrysanthemums have the three different colors, the three main colors that you can buy them in, that they grow in. So there it is. Beautiful. It was so fun to stitch this while the leaves were changing right in front of my eyes outside my window. I converted most of the threads to DMC because I did not want to spend that much money on all the special threads it calls for. But this orange color that is in the pumpkins and in this tree is a Karen water lilies called Marigold, and then this more red looking tree is Frosted Auburn by Silken Colors. I can't say enough good things about these seasonal gardens. I love the way the space gets used, how the trees kind of overhang over the flowers, and there's always kind of a flower and stem flying around in the air to use up that space, and there's birds in every single one of these as well. So if you have this project or any of these patterns in your stash, go ahead and stitch them. And if you like them, go buy them because you won't regret it. They're really fun. They're just great. Each little flower feels like a finish. There's cross stitching, specialty stitches, specialty threads. There's a lot to keep you busy. So here is the spring garden. I'll just show them all to you real quick, even though I've already showed you, but here's spring. And then we have summer. And then for winter, I FFO'd it. So thanks to a tutorial video, a YouTube tutorial video by Trixie Stitches. Her name is Janet and her channel name is Trixie Stitches. I stretched and laced the fabric over foam core board, and then I purchased the custom sized frame online from American Frame. I really like how it turned out. I have to say at first I was not sold on the matte color. It turned out a little bright for me when I saw it in person, but the company only offered 2 reds and the other red was very dark looking, so I thought it would just be too dark, and I was keeping my fingers crossed that this wouldn't be too bright, but it kind of is. I like it now. It took me about a week to fall in love with it, and I was going to get a different mat from maybe Michael's or another craft store in town, the one that I thought might match better, but my husband said he liked the red, and so I went with it. And I do like it now. The tutorial video was wonderful. It wasn't that hard to do, and I'll just get better with time. The one thing that I need to do in the future is leave more space around the stitching. I think I left maybe a ½ inch or less, maybe. So the mat does come very close to the stitching. So next time I'll leave about 1 inch around it. But go check out that tutorial by Janet, channel name Trixie Stitches. It's a great video if you're wanting to learn how to lace your projects and do that yourself. I figured since I'm stitching so much and I don't plan to stop stitching anytime soon, I should just know how to do that myself and not have to pay someone else to do it for me. And so right now Winter Garden is hanging on my wall, and I plan to FFO each garden so that I can hang it up by the time the next season pops up. So I need to get busy on doing spring garden. After I finished those, what did I do? Oh, I decided I really wanted to do a Christmas stitch. I had done a stash and whip parade in my last video, and I saw this while I was showing everybody and thought I should pull that out for Christmas time. I started it during Stitch Mania 2017, and I worked on it one day and hadn't touched it since, and I was able to finish it in 2018 on either December 30th or the 31st. And here it is. This is Ornamental Joy by Country Cottage Needleworks. Last time I showed it, I think I just had a little bit of the O done, and then I just had a lot of fun during the Christmas holiday. I stitched all of it as called for. This is 28 count lamb's wool linen, and there are mostly DMCs in this, but there are 2 weeks dye works, which is the red. You can see that there's just a slight variegation there. And then this more coppery brown, not the brown that the ornaments are hanging on, but the railing up here is also a week's dye works, but the rest is DMC. I just think it's so cute. So that's another one I need to FFO so that I can hang it up by Christmas time this year. What's really neat about Instagram that I'm finally figuring out, I mean, I kind of knew, but I'm figuring it out more and more, is that there's almost a hashtag for everything. So if you hashtag ornamental joy on Instagram, you'll pull up a bunch of people working on this project, and it's amazing to see how people have decided to FFO it instead of just regular, framing it, which is what I always think to do. People have come up with some really awesome creative ways to FFO this. And not only that, a lot of people have changed the colors to something I would have never thought to do, but it looks good. It's kind of neat that they thought to go like the purple route and the blue and yellow route. I mean, there's a lot of different combinations that I saw people come up with. So that was fun. That was the end of 2018, and in 2019 I am doing something a little different than I've ever done before. I am doing a monthly rotation. Now that all the gardens are done, I want to make progress on a few different projects I have going on, and hopefully have some finishes on these. So the first week I work on Candy Cane Santa by Dimensions Gold. Second week of the month I work on Peacock Days by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artist is Josephine Wall. Third week is Spirit of Veerland by Long Dog Samplers. And then the fourth week I get to work on whatever I want, whether it be those projects again, or I have some other whips going on. I can pull out whatever I desire to work on at the moment. And then I also am stitching A Year of Flowers by the Drawn Thread, and that chart has a block for every month. So every month I will finish that block. So January, I finish January. February, I do February, and so on. So by the end of the year, I will have finished that project as well. And it's so cute. I just love the Drawn Thread. I don't think there's a single chart by the Drawn Thread that I wouldn't buy and stitch. I like flowers, I guess. Flowers are my thing. The other thing I got roped into, I shouldn't say it like that, is a Sal. And that I heard on Rebecca's channel, Stitching Becca. If you want to check her out, I first heard it from her, and basically they are stitching on stockings. And I didn't fully understand what she was talking about, I guess, because I'm always halfway watching FlossTube and halfway everything else in the world is going on at the same time. And I'm usually stitching too. So I thought you just started a stocking on the first Sunday of the year and stitched on it every single Sunday. There's actually two Sals. So the first one is hashtag Stitch That Stocking 2019. And then the other one is Stocking Sunday Sal. So Stitch That Stocking 2019 and Stocking Sunday Sal, if you're interested in joining up on this. So basically, one of them is you stitch on your stocking on Sundays, and the other one is you're just basically stitching on your stockings that you want to finish and eventually have in your house during Christmas time, and posting your progress on both of those hashtags. The reason I joined up on the Sal is because Stitch and Becca is doing the Dimensions Gold Sweet Dreams for her daughter, and I actually had that one slated to start after I finished my Candy Cane Santa, and I was going to stitch that for my daughter as well. So I thought, why don't I mostly work on my husband's stocking, and then on Sundays I'll start the Sweet Dreams stocking, and then on Sundays I'll stitch on it every week. So I went ahead and did that too. So I've been having a lot of fun. I mean, I know I'm only 1 month in, but I kind of like the rotation. So let me show you my progress. The first week of January is my Candy Cane Santa stocking by Dimensions Gold, and this one's for my husband. It's gonna look like that. And here is where I am. So the last time you saw it, I had this whole section done and on a little bit into here. And I had a few threads finished off in this quadrant of the window. So I worked a lot on Santa's jacket, the red and the cream ivory colors. I love it. I think it's so pretty. So I am going to be working on that again this week. I did it the whole 7 days, and then I think I pulled it out a few more days at the end of January just to keep making progress on that, because I really want to get these stockings done. The second one that I did the second week of January is Heaven and Earth Designs Peacock Days by Josephine Wall. I had 3 full pages done, so I was working on the 4th page. Now, I've stitched this by working block by block, no parking, just starting and stopping stitches. Then I found Floss tube, learned that parking existed, and did that for a while. And then I really was just into the idea of color completing by the time I pulled this out for the 4th page. So what I went ahead and did was just take one of my parked threads and stitch it all the way through the page. If I ran out of the thread, I pulled some more of it out until I was completely finished with that color. And then if I had leftover thread from there, I did go ahead and park it into the next page. So here is how far I got. You can see this is kind of where the page is. So I am working on a big giant flower right now. And you can see there's the peacock head in there. One of the peacock's head is showing. So that flower is right here. This big flower. So I've done all the way to here. After this page, there is one more full page and then a partial page. And by the time I finish that, I'll be done with the top row. And I'd say I got about halfway through the page. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. So I could, if I keep stitching at that rate, I could have a page done every 2 months, which would mean I would have 6 pages done in 1 year. So that's kind of cool to think about it that way. I'm gonna make some progress on this. I do want to get an app though for this design, because while I really liked stitching the color throughout the page, color completing throughout the page, the first handful of colors were awful to stitch because you had to find all the symbols on the chart and count. Then you had to count all on the fabric, and then you're, triple counting because you really don't want to mess up. And then you have, just finding the symbols is tough enough because they're so small and there's so many of them, and a lot of them kind of look like the other. Like there's an arrow pointing this way and an arrow pointing that way, and then a greater than and a less than symbol, and then a parenthesis going this way and a parenthesis going that way. So when those symbols are kind of close together, it's so easy for your mind just to turn around the symbol that you're looking for and kind of mess it up. So I want to get an app so that, first of all, I can tap on a symbol and it will highlight that whole symbol throughout the page, so I don't have to go looking for it. And then also, I'm not going to worry about mixing it up with another symbol that looks the same, because as long as technology doesn't fail me, that won't happen. And then once I'm done with the color, I can change it to a different color to show that it's finished. And then if I park a thread into another page, I can highlight that square in red or pink or something like that. So if you guys know of any apps to suggest to me for those purposes, go ahead and leave me a comment. If I don't really get any feedback from here, I'll go on Stitch Mania and put the question out there, or maybe even just on the Heaven and Earth Facebook page, because I'm sure a lot of people would know what apps would be good. Still really enjoying this project. It is hard for me to put the projects down and switch to something else because I like progress and I just want to keep making progress. The next project I had was Spirit of Fairyland by Long Dog Sampler. This is what it looks like. I'm stitching it on 32 count Lilac Belfast, and I'm using DMC color 550. So here's my progress. Do you like my rubber bands that I use to keep the extra fabric out of the way? I should probably invest in some grime guards. But I used DMC 550, I think I already said that. And here's how far I got on the this is the first page here. So here's the alphabet. It goes to H down here. What's interesting to me is the chart said backstitch around these letters. So I went in and looked through all the pages of the chart and to see if there's any directions on using one thread or two, or anything like that, and it didn't say anything. So then I went ahead and I looked on this to see, you know, if it looked like they used one thread or two, and you can't, I don't know if you can tell, but there is no back stitching around the alphabet on the finished chart. So I decided to go ahead and do it as the chart shows me, and use one thread, one strand of thread. So I'm excited to start doing some of the motifs and get away from the alphabet for a little while. It is like kind of strange, the alphabet. I know I should look it up, but I think somebody said it in another video, what kind of alphabet it is, but what country it's from. Anyway. So, making progress on that. It was nice to switch it up from Heaven and Earth Design, Major Confetti, Millions of Colors, to this, where it is just one single color, and all you got to do is make sure you're counting correctly. Alright, so then I finished up January for Year of Flowers Drawn Thread. You can see how it has the blocks for each month. So here is January done. That's a carnation. So I now can move on to do February. I forget, let me see, it's not really sure what fabric I used. I can't tell you. I know it's 32 count, but it says Beach Walk Linen. I don't think I got Beach Walk Linen. I think this is something else. Maybe it is Beach Walk. I can't remember what I ordered. Then, last is I started Sweet Dreams Stocking by Dimensions Gold. This is for my daughter. And this, I worked on it on Sundays only, so I've done four days of work on this, and this is how far I've gotten. So I have Santa's hands, his gloves, and he's holding, that's the end of the toy sack there, and you're kind of, part of this up here is the tree, and then that's his beard area shaping. So his two hands, he's got his finger up to shh. Something about these Dimensions Gold kits is that the threads, the way that I've received them for my projects, come on these cardboard strips. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. If I really, really wanted to, I could spend the time bobbinating all this floss, but I just don't want to. I don't feel like doing that. So for the Candy Cane Santa, it's been a very annoying process keeping up with the threads once you've used them and you have leftover strands. You can see that it's just a mess. It's a mess. But you can see I've used up a lot of the threads for the other one. But when I finish, I just wrap the extra threads around the cardboard, see? Which has been a process that I have not enjoyed. And for some reason, when I pulled this one out, I had the idea of, rather than doing that and wrapping the extra thread around, I would hole punch above where the thread comes out. I have a little heart hole punch from when I did a scrapbook. And I just wrap the extra thread up here around the hole punch. That is a lot better than what I was doing. So, if that helps anybody with all this extra thread, I'm not sure how other people do it. I bet there's a lot of people out there who actually just bobbinate their threads and keep them in a box, but I just can't bring myself to spend a long time doing that. I'd rather be stitching. So there's that. Yeah. So my plans for February are exactly the same as what I just showed you in January. Working on those 3 projects mainly. Working on the Sweet Dreams stocking on Sundays and finishing the February block at some point. I am this close to finishing my daughter's baby blanket. I'm knitting her a baby blanket. And again, I didn't bring it to show you guys. I'll show it in my next video because it will be done. In fact, there are hearts on the blanket, so what I really, really want to do is finish it by Valentine's Day so that if we drive anywhere on Valentine's Day, I could throw the blanket over the car seat and start getting some use out of it. So I'm very excited to finish that up because honestly, all I want to do is cross stitch, and I haven't really wanted to be knitting at all, but I am, forcing myself to finish that blanket because I knit my son a blanket, and I really want to have one for my daughter Tinsley as well. Not that I don't know what I'm going to do with these blankets. I mean, my son Ethan's doesn't get used really, and I'm sure once my daughter's a little older, it will not be getting used either. So I guess it's just for my own enjoyment, my own purposes. But hopefully one day they'll appreciate it. At least look at it and say, oh wow, you made that for me. Thank you, Mom. I don't know, that might be a little far-fetched, but we'll see. Maybe I'll think of a neat thing to do with the blankets. Possibly like wrap them around a board, a mat, like that you're supposed to paint on. Wrap it around and hang it on the wall. I don't know. I spent a lot of time on these, so it's a shame that they might not get used up. But I guess that's just what happens with the baby stuff. It's only such a small window of time, and before you know it, they're running around and they're not babies anymore. So you gotta cherish those times. That's what I'm doing right now. My daughter is sleeping, and my son is at his grandma and grandpa's house. We're gonna go meet them later today for my father-in-law's birthday dinner. So we'll pick him up. So he's having fun with them. And my husband's at work, so I kind of have a quiet moment here at the house. And it was perfect timing because it's the beginning of February, so I could make a Floss 2 video and share with you how the rotation went. And what I want to try to do moving forward is have a video out every month to show you how the rotation went. A lot of people are talking about Stitch Mania plans, and I'm not sure I'm going to do anything different for Stitch Mania. May is Mania in my world without cross-stitching plans because we just have a lot of special things that happen at the beginning of May. Tinsley was born on May 4th, so now we have her birthday every year to celebrate. And then my husband and I's anniversary is May 12th, and there's Mother's Day. So there's 3 fun things to celebrate within like a 2-week time span. So I guess as the kids get older, it'll be easier to have a lot of stitching time, even though you're like running errands. But right now, it's like if you have some sort of celebration or you go do something during the evening time, maybe, by the time you get home, you're just like, and the kids go to bed, I just don't feel like doing anything because it just takes a lot out of you to, you know, keep up with a little rambunctious 3-year-old and a baby. But it's the time of my life. There's a big old bird flying up in the tree that caught my eye. It's really cool out there. I've been seeing an owl. I think an owl has come by and sat on the trees back there a handful of times. I even saw him hunt and eat a mouse, which is what they do. It's the food chain, but it was kind of like, whoa, that's how it goes, huh? And there are mice out in the back of the house. Thank you, owl, for keeping them away, because I didn't know there was any mice back there. But why wouldn't there be? It's a wooded area, so there's probably plenty of things out there that I have no idea are crawling around, running around. And then just today, actually, I saw a woodpecker. This big black bird flew by with, it had white chunks on both wings. So I thought, what was that? So luckily, the bird landed, and I could see that the bird had a red head, so I knew it was a woodpecker. So I was keeping an eye on him for a little while, seeing if he was gonna get to work on any of the trees, but he was gone in a flash. It's very, I don't know much about these birds, but it seems like woodpeckers are very like hyper and they move a lot. Anyway, so I get to enjoy the view from the back of our house. Is just wonderful, and it will never go away because there's just a little bit of wooded area, and then the highway comes up back there. So I don't think they'll ever build anything in those. And there's actually trails back there. If we walk back out of our house and go down the hill a little bit, you come up upon a trail, and we've gone on it one time, and it just goes all over the place. I mean, you can go in and out of it pretty easily, but I guess there's miles and miles of trail back there to explore. So I definitely intend to do that, especially once the kids get a little bit bigger. Anyway, I have gone on and on, so I'm going to end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy stitching. I hope you get lots and lots of time to craft.